actually going to figure out what our values-based activities are. So those things that I've said for me in the past are things like playing the piano, writing, coloring, going for a hike or a walk, right? So what those are for you is what we're going to try to determine today. So if you've watched the other videos, you know we have figured out what our life domains are, important life domains. We've figured out what our values are. We have some kind of list written out or something we can reference, right? We figured out how close to the target, or how close or how well we're living our values in each of these life domains already. And so now that you've determined where you want to make these changes, it's time to figure out which values-based activities you could actually be doing. And you can make goals here if you'd like, right? So this would be based on your values, so values-based goals. Or you can just have like a list of activities that you want to do with no like, I have to do this on this day at this time. You know, these are just like handy things that I can do if I would like to, basically. Remember, the more we do our values-based activities, typically the better we feel. So sometimes having a goal can be really handy, but again, not necessary. A lot of my values-based activities, I don't have a goal, or I have a very kind of flexible goal around it. Like I like to play the piano every day, but I don't necessarily say I have to play for this long or I have to play this many songs or anything like that. I just know I'd like to play every day. If I don't hit that goal, it's not the end of the world either. Okay, so if you're a spoonie, right, you probably want to make sure that these are activities that you can actually do. So we want to consider things like pacing, right? We want to do more or less the same amount of activity, the same level of activity every day. What is actually possible for you to do? You know, if you have, you know, your life domain is, you know, personal growth and health, and you have a value of fitness, maybe you say running a marathon is probably not realistic for most of us spoonies, and that's okay. But we need to determine like what we can actually do. At the same time though, your mind is going to tell you that some things are absolutely impossible, and you can't do them, even though they might be things that are totally possible. Like your mind might tell you that you can't go for a 20-minute walk when you actually probably could, maybe not to start, but eventually, right? And so we want to be careful around those things too, but you know, have that in mind, what I can do, what I can't do, what I might be able to do, right? And then again, pacing. Try not to, you know, put all the activity in one day either. So I'm going to suggest, to figure out what these activities are for you, that you just brainstorm. And the best way to brainstorm is just to take a piece of paper, write down all the activities that come to mind, and don't even worry about those things. I can't. Just write down everything. So if your let's say your value is creativity, so you would just write down all the creative things that you could do, potentially. Everything comes to mind. You know, it could be acting in a movie and singing a song and, you know, writing a screenplay and playing the piano and drawing artwork, or, you know, making a piece of pottery, whatever it is. You write all of those down. And then afterwards, we can go through and determine what you could actually do. But we just want to have like a starting point. So I'll give you some more examples from my life. So in personal growth and health, I have written fitness is one of mine. And I know that I like to hike. I actually love to hike. And it definitely aligns with my values, right? Hiking aligns with fitness. I also know that I can't go on a super long hike most days. Most of the time, like an hour and a half is like tops. As much as I'd love to go on like a really big adventure hike, I know that if the hour and a half, I might not feel great the next day. It kind of depends on the intensity of the hike, a few different things. But I kind of have an idea of what my limit is. I also know that I probably am not going to go on a hike more than once a week, and sometimes it's not even every week, it's like every other week or whatever it is, right? So yeah, again, what's realistic based on like my schedule and also what I can physically do, a couple of things to keep in mind. But it's definitely an option. However, it's not my only option when I'm like looking at the things I could do. Going for a walk is an option. Going kayaking is an option, right? I tend to have like a number of different choices so that I have things I can do depending on how I feel. In leisure is another example. I wrote creativity, right? And so this could be working on a writing project. I usually have at least one on the go. It could be playing piano. It could be just coloring a coloring book. Again, different options and different levels of like, you know, writing something requires a lot more brain power as well. I may not be able to do that on a day that I'm feeling physically or mentally exhausted, but sure could color, right? So having different levels of activity is really important. Really important not to dismiss anything right away. Sometimes we have to like brainstorm a little more, do a little more research. But again, having a whole bunch of different activities that you can do is a really, really great option. Everybody, take care and keep making the most of it.